Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chaz Kayato. The topic of today's discussion is going to be the 6561 course in American College of Education's dissertation program. So I've been giving you updates as I go through each one of these courses, and it's been a fun journey. Even though it's only been about a year and a half, I do get some nostalgia from last spring when I started talking to you guys about it. But this current course that I'm working on, this is also known as the Chapter 5 course. It is the fifth chapter of the dissertation, which is the final chapter of the dissertation process. And so there are 7 total dissertation classes. Remember, the very first one that you're going to start with is your concept paper. So while it's technically not part of your dissertation, almost all of that information is going to be used in your dissertation. So this is the 6th of the 7th, with just the defense course being the next course that I have to take, which is next term. Recording this, I technically have about a week and a half left of the current course that I'm in, but I have been given the go-ahead to start preparing for my defense. So I'm just going to go ahead and record this now for you guys. So one of the things you've heard me say every single almost every single video that I've provided for you for the dissertation is to start early. One of the reasons why I was able to finish early is because I started early. What I did was, each time I have a course, I go ahead and I pull up the syllabus that's available in the ACE. There's a section of your ACE portal that allows you to look at syllabi for other courses. Okay, and so this would be through your Canvas. Okay, so not your My ACE, but it's in your Canvas. Okay, you can find the uh, dissertation, or just the all of the courses, really, the syllabus for any specific course. So I look at that, I see what is required, and I go ahead and start working on that. And because I work early, what that does is it allows me to stress out less because I've already got a leg up on what I need to do, but B, hopefully get done my next course early, so that way I can begin working on the subsequent course, right? Although I'm down to the last one. Um, the last course is going to be the dissertation defense, okay? So that'll be the last course review that I'll do. So anyways, start early. One of the things that I recommend is you are required by ACE to have a professional editor work with your paper and edit your paper for you to turn in. Okay, so this is important because ACE, from what it sounds like, really wants you to publish your dissertation, and you would need to make sure that it has everything. You want it to be APA to the max, right? You want it to be without any errors, and so they do require you to have a professional editor work with your paper. Now, you guys know that I secured an editor last year. I actually have had an editor work with me pretty much, I think pretty much every chapter so far, to help alleviate the stress of, well, really two things. One, each individual chapter, it helps you get through that chapter quicker when you have an extra set of eyes that can say, no, you need to change this, this doesn't make sense, all that other stuff. Um, so that helps. But also at the end, which would be the course that I just took, chapter 5, you need to have that whole dissertation looked at, right? And if I've already had it edited every chapter along the way, my editor is not going to take as much time to get that final version back to me, which speeds up, once again, speeding things up. Now, it does cost you more money, right? So it probably cost me about twice as much to have someone edit each individual chapter as I went, and then at the very end. compared to if I just waited till the very end and got it all edited. Once again, I it was just it just made more sense, right? When we were talking about a total of maybe like $600 to $700 in difference between starting earlier and waiting till the end. I mean that that just made sense for 150 bucks extra, basically per course, just to have someone to get those eyes on the paper early. And then I know for like this course, I actually had my editor. I sent it to her to look and review like before the course even started, and said, hey, look, because you're going to get some things that you have to change, but the more polished the dissertation is, each chapter is, when you send it to your committee or your tour, your teacher of record, um, the less that they have to do, and you're not going back and forth as much. Now you still might go back and forth because once again, your editor is just editing. It's good to have someone that has familiarity with what ACE does and what ACE wants, but they're not the person giving you your approval. So the person that gives you your approval may want certain things that you have to go back and do. So let's see. So So secure the editor before the class if possible, but if not, you have to get your course, your dissertation edited in this course. So you're going to submit chapter 5 completely to your tour within the first 2 weeks. Okay, so it's pretty much like you hit the ground running. You're gonna send it in. I sent it in day one because I had it already done basically, or I may have had a couple things that I had to turn in first. There might have been a few things that I had to turn in first, and then I sent it in maybe later that first week. You can expect to write about 10 to 15 pages for this specific chapter. I think 10 is the minimum, but it shouldn't really. I mean, it shouldn't be a 30-page chapter. I know it seems short, but there is a lot you have to do. There's a lot of check boxes. I found that this specific course, lots of check boxes, and it may just be something as simple as sending it to the tour just to say, hey, just give me my approval, or like, and we'll talk about that a little bit because there's a lot of bouncing back. So I just recommend just stay focused. All right, there's still many steps that you have to complete in order to get through this course. And I know you're excited. It's like I'm finally done, and I almost felt like I was pretty much done the whole course, but I just needed to do all these small little things. So in this course, you're expecting you got like 5 people that are kind of all involved in writing this paper, right? Obviously you, okay, your teacher of record, your dissertation chair, your committee member, and then obviously your editor. Okay, and that is kind of stressful where you have to get everyone on the same page in order to get this thing across the finish line. But just understand that that's going to happen. Now remember, your editor does not. They may edit, and your tour or your DC or your CM may come back and say, no, I need you to change this. The editor doesn't make approvals. Okay, so just because your editor says we need to do something here, if anyone that's a part of ACE says no, then you go with the person from ACE. And remember, your dissertation chair is kind of the top of that chain as well. So with the dissertation, I'm sorry, with the editor, you need to show that you have a paid editor contract, and you can submit that to Module 4, and I think you can do that anytime. You're also going to submit that to your 6500 course. So remember, the 6500 course is it's ongoing the whole time you're doing the dissertation, and so you need to, I think it's 10.1 that you have to submit that paid invoice as well. So once you get your tour approval, then you're going to get. So you're doing 2 things here in this course. You're getting chapter 5 approved to add to your dissertation, and then you got to get your dissertation approved. That's why I say there's a lot of things. Chapter 5 is going to go pretty quick. I'm sorry. Chapter 5 part is going to go pretty quick. and then you're going to get to your dissertation hopefully about halfway through. So you get chapter 5 approved from your tour, then it goes to your DC and your CM for approval, and then they're going to bounce that back and they're going to say, good job. And so uh, you're going to work with your editor at that point too, right? So now you're going to get everything edited. Everything is going to be edited and compiled. And I know that I specifically needed to get some things like my table of contents. I had a lot of issues with the table of contents that I needed my editor to help me with. So those are some of the things that they're going to be able to help you out with. Um, you also may need some help with redacting. It's not that difficult, but you do have to redact some information um, before you turn in your final version. Um, and so we'll even talk, there's even a final version that's going to come later. But okay, so Mod 5, you're starting the dissertation approval process. And just know that Mod 6 is just an acknowledgement quiz. It's really nothing. And so the rest of the course after Mod 5 is just getting the final dissertation approved and edited. Well, really edited, then approved, right? So you're getting your dissertation chair and your committee member to approve the edited version, and then you're showing your tour, hey, this is good. This has been edited and it's approved now. And you're gonna once you go through that editing process with your, like I said, editor, then it goes to dissertation chair and committee. Then they may tell you, even after you've had that final edit from your editor, they may still tell you that you need to change a few things. And you're going to change a few things. And then once they give you the final approval, you'll send that back to the tour to say, hey, look, this is my final dissertation approval. You'll put that into a clean copy. When they say clean copy, means no track changes, right? So the exact thing that you would be turning in. And then also to 6500 work in progress, you're going to need to finalize that. And then that's it. All right. So, but there is a lot of bouncing back and forth. Okay. So that is the 6561 course. And once you get done with that last approval within this course, just know that from what I understand, next course, you're going to submit this finally approved paper to be finally approved again by the college. Okay. So yes, it's been approved by your dissertation chair and committee member, but now you got to go submit it to ACE as soon as the course starts. I think you have the first 2 weeks to do it, but hopefully I'll just be able to go right away and submit it. And ACE has to approve that dissertation, and then we'll talk more about that final course next video. Hopefully I pass the final course, and I'll just be able to give you all the information about what to do at the very end of this dissertation process and move forward. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. I'm just about to start working on my slides for my dissertation defense, but I'm looking forward to wrapping all this stuff up and giving you guys, the overview of the entirety of this dissertation process. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me and watching these videos and asking questions. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully the next time I upload, it's, hey, I'm Dr. Kayato. So thanks again, and see you guys soon.